The first edition of the creative class took place in 2018. And there we had this opportunity to support creatives, and almost, if you think about your typical incubator or accelerator program, which we were really inspired by those programs, but we decided to design it and tailor it for creatives in fashion, in design, in other types of arts, culture, beauty, lifestyle subsectors. And so that was a space for us to try to experiment. What does it look like to support creatives, especially those who have new ideas, fresh ideas, and they just needed some level of support? Or what does it mean to support entrepreneurs who had started but they needed some kind of refreshment or reinvigoration? And so we created two pathways. One was called Enter and one was called Growth. And it was an opportunity for us, for the 4 editions at least, to connect entrepreneurs with like minds, provide them with the tools and the skills to develop viable businesses, and to support them in creating a community so that they can sustain their growth and sustain their impact. Over the years, we've been really privileged to attract incredible minds, creative talent across Africa. These are designers and entrepreneurs who are building for fashion, technology, beauty, lifestyle, and especially those who have been championing the sustainability and circular fashion movements. To name a few of them: Pepper Rowe, Peter Taylor, Salu Bata, Oya Abeyo, Red Button, Jessica James, Afri Christabel, 21 Wall Street, Yahaya, Studio Emo, Ivory African. We've seen really amazing and inspiring transformational stories. The Regen Edition, shorthand for regenerative, is a manifestation of all we've learned on the creative class journey, the challenges, and also how we've been delivering the creative class program. I've also been inspired by regenerative practice movements across the globe, in agriculture, in leadership, in different types of design systems. And I think collectively as a team, we also had a tension between, on one hand, we have this desire to support entrepreneurs and, accelerate their growth. But on the other hand, fashion as a system is one of the biggest contributors to environmental degradation and climate change issues that we're seeing today. It's also an industry and a system that perpetuates inequalities in many ways across the world. And so when we think about all of these things, we thought, okay, what does it mean for how we are designing for the sector, how we are supporting entrepreneurs to gain new skills, but also supporting them with, how they're producing and how they're generating income. And so we got to a particular point where we said, perhaps we can use the creative class as an experiment to start to think about how can we cultivate regenerative, creative enterprises that serve people and planet and take into consideration a more healthier, holistic ecosystem for Nigeria and then for Africa.
My name is Fumilayo Iwinosa Uyahire, and I'm at the creative class Regen Edition.
My name is Dimeji Ilori, and I'm the founder and creative director of the Dimeji Ilori brand.
My name is Nola, and I'm part of the new cohort of the Assembly Hub Creative Regen Edition. And the name of my brand is She Lagos, which essentially means to make, to do, or to build in Yoruba.
My name is Jife, and the name of my brand is The Good Girl Fit. We create female pieces for the unconventional women.
My name is Anisha. I'm the founder of Lafia Labs, an innovative haircare brand, cosmetic brand, rooted in connecting the dots between science, and culture.
It's been a very interesting class so far. Aside what I've learned, the people I have met, the creative minds in this room is out of this world. And to speak on what I've learned on the importance of documenting the process. I've come to realize that we as entrepreneurs, it's usually so hard for us to tell stories. We struggle with storytelling. However, here today I have learned the importance, and I have also heard and listened to creatives tell their stories. And in telling their story, you can feel the passion, and you can also see the importance of processing, documenting, and us holding on to our history.
Today has been something like out of a book or a novel or even a dream, because I've been in the room with really creative people, amazing people, people that if I thought they existed, I wouldn't have known how to meet them.
I want to give kudos to the organizers of this program. It's a very, very thoughtful program, and the selection is just so perfect, because I've listened to everybody speak, and it's like I'm in the middle of creatives and geniuses that are on the same journey as myself, trying to like revitalize our old forgotten treasures and bring back the old African narrative and tell the story in a very new way.
For today, I think the most impactful for me would have been when we started working on our cardboard and really being able to put all the ideas, the prompt questions that Pepper was giving us down, being able to also see what everyone else is saying and have a cross collaboration in the questioning phase, our why phase, and for me that was very enlightening.
What I want us to do is create something. It could be your, I don't know, spirit animal, it could be your, how you're feeling. Someone to describe himself in any shape or form. There's no right or wrong answer.
I started weaving this as this is what I do. We weave, African textiles. It's unending because I'm just thinking about how much fabrics we have to weave this year. Since we started 4 years ago, it's unending, to be honest. The colors are multi like this because we have to create colors every single week for a new customer. It's Christmas. It looks like a Christmas tree, the top, because take me back to Christmas. So I'm fully rested. But yeah.
This is a butterfly. So when I started, I wanted to do something that was related to constantly evolving. So I started out in circles, but then I twisted them and then it came out as a butterfly. So I decided to leave it as a butterfly. So, yeah.
Systems thinking. It's one of those things that became a bit trendy at one point, but to put it really simply, the system, because obviously we must know what that is since we're talking about thinking about it. The system is any set of interrelated things. I won't even go as far as saying it's people or organisms or organizations. It's so many different types of things. It can be a mix of them as well. So it's not just one type of things. An ecosystem, for example, shows you that you can have living and non-living things all sort of enmeshed in each other. But the most important part about the system is that there are interrelationships. They're all working together. They're interacting with each other, and they have an impact on each other.
What is the systems or behavior change that you're about? Like, what is the kind of the ultimate thing, the lever that you're trying to change here? And then how can we start to articulate and get clear on how that translates into the way that you want your team to work, the kind of people that you want to hire, the way that you want your organization to kind of help people grow and over time kind of solve increasingly strategic challenges for themselves, right? Because there's also in organizational growth, it can't just be you all the time being the ones to solve and to lead, right? And so how are we actually getting clear on this is the kind of ultimately where we're trying to get to? And so how then does that get mirrored and practiced within our organization and within how we lead?
So let's assume I was a middleman. Would this be fairer if I allow the artisans to tell me how much they want to make this product for?
I think what's really important is to see artisans the same way you would see a friend. You'd see someone from your same environment. Would you go to a friend and basically not ask them for their price, not have them have the agency to tell their price directly? If you wanted to like work with them, for example, let's say your friend is the artisan or someone that you know from school or someone that you want like in your environment, basically. Like I think most often than not, we dehumanize artisans to the level where we don't realize that like they're just people like us, basically.
What are the signs that the current system, the current enterprise system, creative enterprise system in Nigeria is not fit for purpose? So we're going to have about 8 or 10 minutes now in small breakout groups to talk about this.
Okay, hi everyone. I'll be speaking for group 3.
Thank you.
We had approached this thinking of creative and regenerative futures. And one of the things that we realized constantly affects our creative and regenerative futures is that we're not designing or developing sustainable practices or policies locally. We still seek external validations. By external validations, it means that we're still reliant on colonial, Western or European validations for our creativity and practices.
My overall experience of the Creative Class program has been incredibly insightful. All of the sessions were really, really needed for the phase where I am in my business, so I needed to be in this class. I honestly cannot imagine what kind of decisions I would have made business-wise if I didn't participate in this program.
Hi, I would say my experience at the Creative program has been insightful, educative, and a little bit of networking with people that are so intelligent.
My overall experience with the Creative program has been wholesome, validating, and insightful.
Overall, it's been quite rigorous. You know, it's taken a lot of commitment for me. I feel like one thing it's shown me is I'm a really resilient and like elastic person. So I've loved that it's challenged me in that way. Because every class that you come to, you definitely like have to show up, you have to contribute, you have to have your own personal insights that you're bringing because everybody else is bringing their own personal insights that you're gaining from as well as the speakers.
I feel like it has been very reflective. It has pushed me to really think about my business very deeply, in detail, like every aspect of my business, from marketing to manufacturing, and I have had to really decide what I want to do and what I want to do going forward, and that's why I'm really grateful for the experience. I would say it's been really constructive. At times I felt like I was a bit out of my comfort zone with some of the topics. They pushed me to think more expansively. I look fondly on some of the sessions that we had. Some of the topics I've never heard before, ever. And yeah, I'm just really excited to dig deeper.
I've gotten a lot of insights, information, I've made connections with like minds, and I think overall I've been open to a world of possibilities, which is something that I'll never forget. One of the best decisions I've made in my life.
I have a couple of regenerative principles that are incorporated into my business, like using organic fabrics, cotton, linen, adire, like I'm even putting on linen at the moment. Also, I collaborate with upcyclers and recyclers. I met a couple of them during this session. She's an upcycler, so I have like my fabrics that I'm not using anymore and I send them to her, and she either creates new things from it or she recycles them. Then question is the regenerative one, and so moving forward is about creating that structure, doing all the thinking and research about how to source gemstones responsibly, how to source metals responsibly, but even managing like waste and packaging and like some elements that I would be making changes in moving forward.
For me, some of my top sessions were sessions on innovative and sustainable business models, and also the session on intellectual property. With the intellectual property class, I was able to trademark my business during the session, and all of the information that I learned from that class was able to help me make better decisions. So being able to get like a copyright across multiple classes, how to go about it, what to expect in terms of the timeline. I was actually speaking with my lawyers from a more informed place, so that was really nice for me.
What I've learned so far is that while I'm building, I need to carry people along. I can't just build in isolation. And even if I'm building for customers, I also have to think about the world around me and how to be more sustainable.
Okay, a couple of things I've learned that will influence my business and my community are the session that we had on change leadership was really, really impactful. It really, really helped the way that I think about the artisans that I work with, thinking about them as equals, people who have the same like reasoning abilities, capacity as myself, people who deserve to contribute their opinions to the production process. So that totally changed my orientation.
I've learned so much about like storytelling, about helping people connect with your story, about financing and like how to sustainable financing, bootstrapping, and how to really structure your finances in a way that helps your business grow.
What I have learned that would impact my business, community, and leadership. Number one, that set apart from everything I've learned so far is how to build a business model, Canva. Also, reflective leadership, a leadership that starts with me, being a change maker in the industry I find myself, which is the sustainability industry.
One major thing I would take from this is this school of thought called systems thinking. Initially, I thought design thinking was like the pinnacle of problem solving, but systems thinking is a more advanced way to look at problems.
I'd like to thank Wema Bank for partnering with the Assembly to curate this program. I'd also like to thank Sarah by Wema for always positioning themselves in places that push women forward and advance us across different fields. To thank the International Futures Forum as well for their support and Chicluded. I would like to thank the Office of the Special Assistant to the President on Digital and Creative Economy for also even participating in the session with us on the very first day and just showing support throughout the program. Thank you so much, the Assembly.